Hey, what's going on guys? Butterbar here, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about Call of Duty releasing some footage of Spec Ops. And there's kind of one funny thing, they showed some Spec Ops missions, they showed some Spec Ops gameplay, but I don't know if anybody else saw it, but there was no survival gameplay in the entire trailer. I wonder why that was. I wonder why there was no survival gameplay. I wonder if it has anything to do with, you know, kind of bamboozling the audience of people that are going to be planning on buying Modern Warfare and not getting the full experience of Spec Ops with not only the operations and missions that they have announced in this trailer, but also, too, without being announced or shown, is the survival mode that's actually being excluded from Xbox and PC. So, in today's video, I want to give you guys my impression about what I thought about the trailer. I'm going to actually read as well a press release type of article that was released with this trailer, just kind of documenting on, you know, everything that is included in the Spec Ops mode besides the survival that's not talked about or mentioned. But in Spec Ops, they've broken it down to operations and missions that we're going to be able to do and conduct and be able to play in the Spec Ops mode that is subtracting away from as well, again, like I said, is survival. Now, from what I have at least seen in this trailer and seeing the gameplay, and kind of reading through this article already, is that it does mirror a lot of the things that were in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 when it came to the missions that you were able to accomplish and be able to play in those two games back, I believe in 2009 and 2011. So it's nice to see this stuff returning in this Modern Warfare game, but they also as well are actually announcing another game mode or something that's attached to these missions, which is called Operations, which is a, I think from what it is described as a three objective-based game modes, all surrounded into one. So there's these missions that are individual missions, but in Operations, there's like 3 or 4 actual objective missions in the surrounding type of environment. So it's very interesting. It's very cool to have something expanded upon, not only having the missions, but also having these operations as well. And it's going to be kind of interesting to see how this works out. Now, I know they've actually described Spec Ops and pretty much the entire Modern Warfare game between Spec Ops, the campaign, as well as the multiplayer, is that it's going to be a cross-platform or cross-game modes, being able to level your character up, being able to experience, you know, gain experience and whatnot and level your character out. So it'll be very interesting to see how that works out in Spec Ops and how that works over to the other game modes, as well as, too, when it comes into multiplayer and being able to have it's kind of an advantage, I would think, you know, with depending on how the leveling system works in the game. But it is interesting to see not only are they wanting to have the experience kind of going over all 3 game modes, Spec Ops, campaign, and multiplayer, but they're also wanting the story to actually continue on through the Spec Ops mode. And you kind of see that a little bit in the trailer with some of the hidden things that they've kind of shown in the trailer that people are going to have memories of from the Modern Warfare series back in the early 2010s. So let's get into this article that they've written, and I'll let you guys kind of know what my opinion is as we go through it. So Activision and Infinity Ward have officially released the first details of the Spec Ops mode in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Spec Ops mode in Call of Duty Modern Warfare is a third mode in the game with co-op features and joins the campaign and multiplayer to be a part of the overall game for the October 25th launch. Spec Ops first debuted in Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009 and is making its return this year in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Background on it. A greater evil has taken over the Eastern Hemisphere and is up to the Global Alliance Armistice, a joint force of allegiance and coalition operators led by Kate Laswell, a CIA agent, and a Sergeant Kamarov. If you guys don't know Kamarov, he is a Russian soldier in Modern Warfare series, so it's interesting to see that he is coming back to stop and serve a global terror organization accessing weapons, funds, intelligence, and hardware. So that is a background of what the Spec Ops mode has to entail when it comes to the story mode, you know, from the campaign into Spec Ops with the continuation of the story. The mode detail. Spec Ops mode in Call of Duty Modern Warfare is an extension of the game's campaign mode. As noted when the game was originally announced and narrated, the narrative aspect of the campaign carries over across the game. This mode is available on all platforms. It is reimagining a collective, expensive, interconnected operations against a new and encroaching threat Players will assemble into strike teams of 4 to execute multiple phase objectives, which together will advance the overarching story of Modern Warfare. So, again, like they have announced as well, this is going to be a 4-player co-op missions and operations, and compared to the other Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, where it was just a 2-player co-op. So it's nice to know that we are going to be getting that expansion. In this mode, enemies will react to the decisions of your squad, which means that the outcome of the battles can be different based on how your squad plays the mode. Call of Duty Modern Warfare will launch with 4 multi-stage operations in the game on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Activision says there's more operations will be released throughout the post-launch season. The game mode features operations and missions. Operations are large multi-stage features of Spec Ops and Modern Warfare, and missions are built within the operation. Now we're going to get into the details of what is the difference between operations and missions. Now they described operations as you infill into the many war-torn zones within Spec Ops, you and your team will have full latitude of how to accomplish your operations. This Spec Ops mode is a 4-player match-made activity centered around interconnecting experience that takes the form of objectives, each culminating in the removal or destruction of the key logistic aspect of the Al-Qatala army. So again, you're going to be infiltrating into a certain area. I'm assuming these are going to be large-scale, maps. I mean, maybe even close to where, the ground war maps and how large-scale they are. So within that, you're going to have different objectives. I think as you continue on through the missions, you complete one objective, you move on to the next and the next. I think it's going to be growing like that, and especially in the trailer, we do see some things where they go from the ground to an airplane, and they go from an airplane to, jumping out, and then it goes into something else. And then also, too, we also do see some AC-130 gameplay as well. Now, we don't know if that's survival or if that's maybe maybe somebody is actually manning that from the air and kind of, providing support, because there were some missions in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 where there was some ground support, or at least some air support for teammates that were on the ground. So it'll be interesting to see if that makes a return into the different game modes and operations. I know it will make a return to survival. However, if it's going to be in operations and missions, we don't know, even though we did see some gameplay. So it is interesting that operations will have multi-tier objectives to complete, and then missions will be just its own individual, objective, and very similar to what Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 had. Now, they describe the missions as complementing the multi-stage operations, and also available across all platforms are the additional missions, which can be played solo or with up to 4 players. Whereas operations give you the widest breadth of strategic and tactical choices, missions are more curated experience where your proficiency with specific weapons, kill streaks, and other tools will be tested. These missions are extremely replayable, and you're able to achieve 1, 2, or 3 stars ranking based on your performance. Naturally, there will be an Infinity Ward time that you can attempt to beat as well. Now, again, looking at that is very similar to what, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 had, and I know a lot of people were trying to compete not only to get the 3 stars, and again, it was really replayable. I remember replaying the missions in Spec Ops mode in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 quite a bit to achieve the 3-star, but then also, too, there's a lot of people out there that really do want to achieve the fastest time. I mean, competitively, you'll see stuff on Twitch where people are wanting to beat the fastest time possible, and I definitely think you will see that in this game. You will see a lot of people trying to compete for the fastest time possible when it comes to these Spec Ops missions, and I think that's one thing that really did make Spec Ops a lot of fun, because not only they were fun missions, but also too there was different things to where you could actually compete to how fast you could possibly complete it, not only with your friends, but also too with the rest of the world. And even if you could beat maybe the Infinity Ward time, and it really does remind me of if you guys had played Titanfall 2, there was a game, or not really a game mode, but there was a mission in there in the very beginning of training where you could actually speed run and try to see how fast you could actually make it through one of the missions by wall running and whatnot. And there was an actual official time, and again, people were running the hell out of that and trying to get the fastest times possible. So it was very interesting to see that. All right, so let's talk about some of the gameplay that they actually showed in this trailer, because again, it was only a minute long, and honestly, to me, I really did think they would actually maybe stream it, maybe show a little bit more gameplay. I really do feel like maybe a minute and 30 seconds is really just not a whole lot. And again, I understand that Infinity Ward is still wanting to hold a lot of stuff to them before the game releases. And again, the game's going to be out in about 2 weeks or so. But still, I really did think that we were actually going to get a lot more gameplay. You do see a lot of things. It's more or less cutscenes between a nuclear bomb being exposed. You see some soldiers walking down the street. It does start to kind of describe, what you're going to be going into, and it's up to 4 players, and it actually shows the kind of infiltration that you're going to be going in by vehicle, walking around. There's helicopters around, so it makes me wonder, are we going to be able to have not only vehicles to be able to move around the map and move around the environment area, the operation, not only vehicles, but, cars, but helicopters as well. It'll be very interesting to see the different aspects and approaches you can actually make into operations. You definitely do see some infiltration into some buildings, kind of making your way through, barricades and whatnot. The funny thing is, you do actually see one of the missions from the Modern Warfare series where you actually went to Chernobyl. You see the swimming pool of the Olympic area where, people were practicing it, and you actually do make your way through that. So it's very interesting to see that. You do see some of the AC-130 gameplay, again, with more vehicles trying to make their way over to the aircraft. And once you're in the aircraft, again, this is very great memories when it comes to the Mile High Club. If you guys knew exactly what the Mile High Club was in the first Modern Warfare game, it was to try to reach this certain point to the cockpit of the this ship, or this plane, and the fastest time, hardest difficulty. It was an insane challenge, and not too many people got it. I remember playing it and finally getting it, and thank God I got it. But definitely seeing that cargo plane, or at least the plane that they're fighting in, definitely brings back memories of the Mile High Club, and that might actually be not only a mission but also part of the operation as well. So it'll be very interesting to see that. Again, you go into the skydiving, you see the skydiving out of the plane, and again, really, maybe that could be the possible end of that operation, or they could actually be going into a separate mission, continuing on with that operation. Now, the last thing they actually tease towards the end of the video, which has a lot of people kind of wondering, who is it going to be? Is it going to be Sarkayev? We don't know, but you do see somebody in a dark silhouette aiming a Desert Eagle onto a enemy soldier. So it does make me wonder what is going to be the outcome of this. And this is kind of the one thing that is very interesting to see, what way they actually plan on taking the Spec Ops mode, because from what they described is that the campaign is not going to be, it's going to have similar things when it comes to the Modern Warfare series, at least with that campaign storyline. But, some of the villains are not going to be making a return. So the way that they could actually be making a return in the game is through the Spec Ops mode, and bring in Zarkayev and, Al-Assad and all these other enemies that were in the original Modern Warfare series campaign, and bringing them over to the Spec Ops mode and having its own little storyline and campaign to continue on with the campaign of the main storyline within Modern Warfare. So it is a very interesting thing. I think they've definitely opened up a lot more avenues to be able to tell a story and to expand upon it. I'm happy to know that Infinity Ward does plan on actually continuing on with what they want to do and telling a story, and actually seeing some expansion onto the Spec Ops mode later in the future. We'll have to see how often it's expanded upon. I know that we already have some issues with multiplayer when it comes to maps, so we'll see which one takes focus on. But again, it looks promising. It does look really good. I think a lot of people are kind of overblowing it of, oh my god, I'm just super excited, but I'm excited. I think it's going to be interesting to try it out. However, I'm still on the I feel like we're definitely being burnt as players, and getting one mode completely excluded from us on PC and Xbox, where again, players on PlayStation 4 are going to be able to play it. Survival is going to open up another avenue of people being able to play and be able to rank up not only their character but their weapons and loadouts and whatnot, to where people that are only on Xbox and PC can only play the operations and missions, and they can't do survival. So to me, I do find it funny that Infinity Ward did not show any gameplay or announce anything, any news about survival in their Spec Ops mode, since survival is attached to Spec Ops. So far, at least from the gameplay that we've seen, it does look very promising. It looks very interesting to be able to try out. Again, especially, kind of going back to the Titanfall 2 days of playing Frontier Defense and whatnot. It's very fun to kind of have some of these modes, some different game modes to kind of break from the multiplayer and play with, co-op and kind of go against the AI, and just kind of a break from the multiplayer. But again, however, it's just kind of an annoying thing that, as a community, as all of us, with this whole, cross-play thing and bringing the community together, no matter what platform you're playing on, it still sucks to know that, a certain amount of the community is still going to be treated differently, just because of the game system they bought. So to me, that still kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I'm still irritated about that. I do find it funny that, you know, it's still being withheld because they know how much of a backlash they got from it. But it will be very interesting to see not only the expansion that they plan on doing to Spec Ops, maybe the unlocks and the camos and whatnot that you might be able to unlock by playing it. I mean, who knows how they plan on doing content when it comes to getting people to play Spec Ops, besides, you know, people that want a break from multiplayer, but actually driving people to play Spec Ops. You know, what might some of the incentives be? What might some of the unlocks be for not only characters but weapons and stuff like that? It'll be interesting to see how they do that. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I think it looks enticing. I think it looks promising. However, it's still just kind of one of those things that, man, it really does suck. It sucks that that we're going to be having some content held back. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think about it? Does Spec Ops look like something that you're going to be wanting to try out? If it's a continuation of the storyline from the main campaign, and they plan on expanding, you know, more storyline through the Spec Ops mode, through operations as well as mission, does this have something in there to where it's going to drive you to actually go into it? Especially too with, you know, the cross experience gained from all the modes. Is this going to be something to where you're going to be like, hey, you know what, I want to experience this thing. Not only am I experiencing a good, you know, storyline, but I'm also getting some good experience to kind of carry over into multiplayer. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you guys think about it? What is your opinion on the Spec Ops mode? What do you guys still think about the survival kind of being withheld? And really, how do you think they're going to be doing the expansion with the storyline when it comes to Spec Ops, and what characters we might actually see returning through that storytelling in that different game mode? So let me know in the comments below, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you guys all next time.